Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Thursday here in Lake Garda in Italy. How are you doing? Are we good? How are we feeling? It is Scott Show again. How is it? How is the weather where you are? Tell me, tell me. And let me see who is first past the post this morning. Who's first past the post? Who's going to be commenting? Who's going to be joining us this morning? It's Lisa Jane. I love it. I love how you guys are like, oh, quick, I'm going to get in there. I'm going to quickly say good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning to everybody. Good morning to our new watchers. Good morning to our regulars. Good morning. Ciao, Bellas. How are we? Bellissimo. From Joanne Smith. How are we doing? No, this is how Italian I'm feeling right now. I'm on like an espresso. Do I even need that kind of caffeine? The answer is absolutely not, but I'm still getting amongst it anyway. I hope you are all well. My God, I tell you something. It Sleeping on your own makes a massive difference to life. I think also as well, whilst I've been here, we've been either really focused in getting stuff done or we've been relaxing, but there has been a real mixture of both. What do you say, Claire? We've had a real mix, haven't we, of like super focused time, but then relaxing as well. She's like, yeah, we're super chill. We're super chill. So Claire is outside on the terrace. She's getting on with some of the things that we began yesterday. So we're starting to sort of tie up. We're starting to tie up and tie together some of the talk structures, which is brilliant. And I'm just chatting to you for the next hour or so. We've got the fabulous Margaret Shenken going to be joining us this morning. She's just getting all set up and ready to rock and cockle. So we're going to have a little chat for a minute. So let me know what the weather's doing where you are. Good morning, child off 6. You can join me live. Oh, do you know what? It's one of them times that if you don't have a cuddly child, you get a cuddly child for a little bit, don't you? You just get to have those snuggles. I You make my morning. You make my morning, Lisa. You make my morning, babes. Looking happy, I am. And do you know what it is? The last, I would say, 8 weeks have been really, really super intense. And when I get back, it's going to be super intense again. But actually, when I'm in delivery, and essentially this is, we're delivering stuff here, is really what fills my cup up. And when you start to choose the work that really fills you up, you're making a difference, that it's your zone of genius, it's all of those things that actually you do feel happy. And because you know me, I'm a bit daft, aren't I? So putting the pressure on myself to write that book in a short space of time, getting everything set up for the challenge and all of that sort of stuff, that's really kind of intensive stuff that isn't necessarily, even though I love writing, I don't. And does anyone get this? Like when they've got to write copy for things like emails and stuff, I much rather shoot from the hip. Like I feel better when I'm writing, like I'm talking to you like this now. So when I'm writing, it was quite an intense process. Whereas this isn't hard. This is like super, super enjoyable. And I managed to set up my work so that not only do I get to do the things that I enjoy, I get to be surrounded, get to be in the nice places and all of that. So I'm just made up. I'm dead happy and feeling dead relaxed. So how was my flight? Flight was really good. It was like up and down, like it's 2 hours, just like 2 hours from Birmingham to Verona, and then it was like half an hour to here. And then where we are in Bardolino, we're like a stone's throw. There's restaurants downstairs, there's restaurants over there, little shops. And the second night we went to eat in like a Michelin star restaurant. And then last night we went to, get this, last night we went to a little village about 10 minutes away. I looked on TripAdvisor. So when I put together these packages, I look at the area, I look at the place where we're staying, make sure we're booked in to do some nice things. Like today, for example, at 3:30, me and Claire are going to go wine tasting. So we're going to do some work like through the day today, and then we're going to pause. We're going to do some wine tasting, maybe come back and do a bit of future planning or do some future planning while we're there. But I'd gone through like TripAdvisor and gone through like all the nice hotel reviews and nice like restaurant reviews and found this place. It was called the Taverna del Borgo, right? And the reviews were, it's a little bit off the beaten track, but well worth it. It's not kind of typically touristic. Anyway, so we went, and there's a couple that run it, and one of the guys, it's from my estate. I'm like, from the Savick in Preston. We don't tell people that it's Savick, really. We tell people that it's Ashton, and that's what he said to me at first. He was like, "Where are you guys from?" I was like, "Oh, I'm from Preston." He goes, "Oh, I'm from Preston." I was like, "All right." He goes, "Yeah, Ashton." I went, "Yeah, I say Ashton, but I'm from." He went, "Savick." I went, "Yeah." And it turns out the guy in Italy here running this fabulous restaurant is from around the corner from my house. How crazy is that? How small is the world? So yeah, we was had a lovely conversation. It was a lovely dinner, and so different. Like, I love those different experiences. How do you guys feel about that? So when I go on holiday, I don't necessarily haven't had the opportunity really to do the whole all inclusive thing. But when I do go away, I like to do something that is like an experience, but then do something that's a little bit off the beaten track. Me and Wallace did this when we went to Paris. We ate in a Michelin star restaurant, and then we went to one of the more villagey restaurants. And actually, we had an even better time in the more villagey restaurant that was kind of more rustic and less touristy. And it was just a different experience altogether. It wasn't kind of that created experiences. Yeah, it was brilliant. It was such a lovely time last night. Kind of crackers, really. He's from right around, literally like a couple of streets along from where I live, so he knows what I'm trying to escape from, right? um so what are you guys saying? What's the weather doing where you are? It's sunshiny here. I can see Margaret. She's backstage as we speak. We've made it. I see you, sister. I'll be with you in just a second. We're just catching up. Um, the picture is nice and clear. Yeah, the Wi-Fi is really strong in this apartment, which is perfect. It means that, we can, well, I can write all my emails. It means I can do this. It looks fabulous. I was worried about the picture quality, but we've managed to rock it out. Weather is slowly setting up in Sutton Coldfield. It's been scorching like over in the UK, right? Morning, bit grey here where you are. Lucy, 100%. You're amazing. Much better than the Radio 2 breakfast show with Zoe Ball. Oh, God. She's been at it a long time. She's definitely cut her teeth. Lucy, I can't wait to have you on my show. Can't wait to come on your show. Can't go anywhere. Honestly, it's like my dad was the same. Like, I remember being young and like going anywhere, and my dad just knew everybody, and it's kind of getting the same way. It's like you're international superstar Dani Wallace knowing people all over the world. She's such a jet setter now. She's bumping into all of her fellow travelers on her way. I always meet people on holiday from around the corner. It always happens. It's crackers, isn't it? It's crazy. I love to go for a wander and explore. Same. And what we've like what me and Claire have done is we've had this like really lovely mix of we'll go for a walk, go for a break, or we'll go sort of off the beaten track a little bit, and then come back and do some more focused work. And I think we've got the mix right. It's been a thoroughly enjoyable experience. The rogue and rustic, oh, perfect. You must. Do you know what, Joanne? I love it how you come up with these little like kind of snappy sayings. Rogue and rustic. It's exactly how I like to holiday. Love eating with the locals, always the best places. Yeah, absolutely. Sunny in Bexley-on-Sea. It is sunny and beautiful today. Our fabulous Katie Page. Good morning to Michaela Leyland. Right, you guys, let's get the show underway. With joining us on the show, talking about how fitness changed up her confidence and her happiness. I want to talk to her more about this. We're going to welcome her onto the show. In lieu of the applause button, hit the like, the love, the share button. Here we go. Good morning.
Good morning. How are we today?
Joining us.
I know, I'm so excited, and I have to say, I don't want to say you're honoured because that sounds ridiculous, but I am so not a morning person.
Honestly, when people join me in the morning, I know, like, getting up in the morning and trying to bring some kind of fire to anything is hard. It's a hard slog. Like, I'm on the rocket fuel this morning.
I've caffeinated, and I was thinking about you in Italy, and I'm so jealous, but look at this wee bad boy I've got.
Yes.
So the glass mug has just elevated the whole experience.
I love it. We're getting a little bit of Ciao Bella all up in here. I love it. Margaret, so thank you for joining us. Thank you for getting up. Like, it's funny because I'm not a morning person either, can you believe? And the reason why...
I get you. I take classes in the morning to suit my members, and yeah, it just takes a wee bit extra work to get in the right mindset to get your energy levels up, doesn't it?
Just got to do a little dance before I hit the line. So yeah, thanks for joining us. Margaret, tell us more about what it is that you do.
Okay, so I've got a female fitness membership hub, which is now completely online since a week before lockdown. I am, the boring part, I'm a personal trainer and I'm a nutritionist, which
That's
I've been
boring.
Well, you know what I mean, the qualifications part. It's
right.
not boring at all. Wait till I tell you what I used to do. That was boring. Sorry, my apologies to any lawyers on the call. So I was a litigation lawyer for 10 years. I did construction litigation, so building disputes. Woo.
Really exciting stuff.
But I say that I didn't leave because I hated it. I left because I had my 2 older kids and my husband's also a lawyer, and I thought, I went back and tried it for a few years, and I thought, you know, if I'm going to work these crazy long hours, I want to build something for myself. I don't want to be giving all this time to someone else. And it felt like the right time. I wasn't passionate enough about it. And the main reason I would say is I went into the law thinking that I was going to be helping people. That's not how it worked. As a lawyer, I felt like you're a necessary evil. And even if you do a good job for your client, at the end of the day, they're not happy because they have to pay an absolute fortune in legal fees. So I'm kind of all about bringing people more joy into their lives, more happiness, helping, and I'm a real empath. And I realised that my skill in law was on the client front, the people side, and didn't get to see them as much as I would have liked to. But it got me to where I am today. So I left after my 3rd child in 2010. Requalified. I'd already qualified actually because I had this wee voice in the back of my head. I remember sitting at my desk in the office in Glasgow thinking, yeah, there's more, I'm going to do something else. And people often say to me, oh, it's okay for you, you know, it was easy to jump into business from corporate because you've got that passion for fitness. I didn't really have a passion for fitness. I had a passion for helping people. I've always enjoyed fitness, but I think part of what brings my customers to me is I'm not a fitness fanatic. I don't live to squat. You know, I don't jump out in the morning like, oh, I can't wait to work out.
I can't wait to do a burpee.
No, and actually,
who can wait to do a burpee?
The hub's a burpee and press up free zone. Never, ever, never. So yes, I did them in my 20s and in my 30s, but I'm now 46 and I want something different. I want exercise to bring, like I say, joy, happiness, fun in my life, as well as keeping me fit and, you know, having a fit body. So most of my clients are sort of in they're over 35, up to in their 60s. And they come to me because they don't want to be doing the extreme fitness.
And I think there's this, if I look at the sort of the trends over the past sort of 10, 15 years, you know, there's the rise of CrossFit, there's the rise of strength-based training for women, and there's lots of different things and there's been a huge surge in people wanting to, they're more mindful and more conscious of looking after themselves. And there's this whole raft, I guess, if I look at, you know, my niece's age, my niece is like 14. There is a whole raft of people who are becoming more mindful. If I look at when I was 14, 15, that was really the start of the binge drinking era of the really sort of like super unhealthy.
Oh yeah, I remember
super unhealthy era. Yeah, like mid 90s to early 2000s. And then now there's been this shift, consciously looking after yourself, hasn't there?
It's really changed, and I think it's really positive, I have to say. My eldest, my daughter's 17, and she was desperate to get back to the gym as soon as it opened up. we haven't gone back because, well, for various reasons, but she was desperate to get back and get into her strength training. And also, that's where she socializes with her friends.
Yeah.
So there has been a big, big change. And I think, like you say, when we were younger, there just wasn't this focus on fitness.
No.
And there have been quite a few fads. There's, like you say, there's CrossFit, there's high intensity interval training. I don't do that because I can't tell you the amount of clients that I've had that have ongoing injuries from doing HIIT. I do intervals, but not push it as much as you can do in this 60 seconds, because the transition between moves is too fast and you just can't often get into the proper technique quickly enough. Having said that, I do like variety. I have a really low boredom threshold, like many women, because we're juggling everything in our heads at once. So I like to mix it up. So in a typical week, so I'm doing like 6 lives a week in my hub, Monday to Saturday. I do 6 30-minute workouts. It sounds extreme, but actually one of them's always stretch based. So one of them would be like sleepy time yoga or rise and shine yoga. And then the favourites are a ballet sculpt, combat sculpt, but the all-time favourite is they love a Saturday dance party. So on a Saturday,
I love a Saturday dance party. Like, who doesn't love a Saturday dance party?
So I saw your post recently, and your gorgeous singing video that you posted.
Oh, thank you.
I was singing along to it when I watched it. I bet everyone else was. And I thought, that's how I feel about dance, but and music, because the music's really crucial. And I've managed to kind of continue doing that because of what I do. So to go back a bit, you asked me what I did. So when I left the law, I decided to build a fitness class franchise. And I built a brand called Fuse Fit, and it was like a licensed model. So you put out the new routines and choreography every month, and fitness instructors pay for that, and they'll deliver what you have created, your music and your choreography. And it was called Fuse Fit, and it was 40 minutes of dance fitness, which everybody loves, even if you can't dance. But then it was combined. This was the fusion with 20 minutes of sculpt, because I used to go to dance fitness classes and think, I absolutely love it when I'm there, and also it's really good for my cardiovascular health, but I don't feel I'm getting results from it. I don't feel it's toning me. So I added in the strength part, because I wanted the class to do the thinking for the women that came, rather than them going, but I've still not done strength, if anyone actually thinks. And it was really good. It was successful. I was doing trainings all over the UK. And then a couple of years ago, I did a TEDx talk, which was one of the best experiences of my life.
It's incredible.
Down in Telford. And it ended up being a complete journey of self-discovery, because you go so deep into what you want to say. You'll know this. It's what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we're doing this today. So like we are doing the deep, like when you do a TEDx, you've got to present a new idea or an old idea in different light. So when you are presenting that, you've got, in order to give a good presentation, you've got to really think and really consider what it is, why what you're saying is challenging, and how to provide some evidence around it. So you've got to make sure that you're saying something that's going to be compelling, that isn't something that everybody already knows.
Totally. And you want to be authentic. You don't just want to, because people can see through it if you're not. And I put in the topic that I was going to speak on, and the lovely lady that was running it was like, yeah, great, that's fab, we'll do that. Then I went away to start preparing it, and the end topic ended up being something completely different. And so it's called How Do I Know What My Passion Is? And it was really about my journey from growing up being a people pleaser and going into the law, and everyone, being the first in my family to a whole extended family doing a uni degree. And there was so much weight on that I felt I couldn't leave the law. And then I had my kids and I left and found my passion in fitness. That's a very, cut down version. But I wanted this message really to resonate with the younger generation of today who don't really know what they want to do, and they think that it's terrible when they don't. But actually, I've had like multiple careers now, because it was law, and then I did lecturing when my kids were wee, and then fitness, and now I've got my own business. And to cut a long story short, at the end of the TEDx talk, I realised I'd built the wrong business. So
it's so interesting, honestly. Like, I find this a lot, that when I work with people, when we start creating their talks and we start to drill down, there's light bulb moments that happen that you don't really necessarily expect. Like like you say, when you start to drill down into really why you're doing the things that you're doing, or you'll either remember something that you didn't think was relevant, or like you say, you have a realization where you think, God, I've just been building in the wrong area for ages. Oh, like you do get these realizations when you start digging around like that.
It's fascinating, and I would do another one just for that very reason. And it didn't happen right away, and it didn't happen overnight, because it took me a long time to accept that I'd built the wrong business.
Yeah, you got to fight with that, then, haven't you, with yourself? Like, for God's sake.
I've been doing it for so many years. So the business I built was the fitness franchise business. And in my talk, I speak about what my passion really is when a client comes to me and she walks away happier and lighter and more confident and all of that. And that just like lights the fire in my belly. And then I realised that I'm servicing fitness professionals. The clients I'm talking about here are the one-to-ones I still keep my hand in with.
Yeah.
But now I'm servicing fitness professionals, and I don't want to do that.
Because they've already experienced, haven't they, the benefits, I guess. When you're with fitness professionals, they're already thinking that way. Whereas actually, it really is a revelation when you find a way of moving your body that makes you happy, instead of thinking that exercise is a punishment to yourself for being fat, which a lot of people think.
Absolutely, yes.
And it is, and it demonizes being fat. And I'm a big girl, so I'm pretty cool talking about this from my space. But I still love moving my body. I love swimming. I love yoga, and I've found ways of body that make me happy. Not necessarily make me skinny. It doesn't matter. I'm moving my body, keeping my heart healthy, and all of these things. And when the revelation, when you realize, and I'm going to say it again and louder for the people at the back, exercise is not a way of punishing your body for being fat.
No, absolutely not. And actually, although my membership is called the Female Fitness Hub, and that evolved through lockdown, it started out being called Your Daily High. So my free group is now called Your Daily High, and I deliver a free 30-minute workout every Monday morning it's usually about 8:30 or 9 or 9:30. And it basically does what it says in the tin. And just when I saw lockdown coming, I hopped on all the local Facebook groups and did a live video, which was actually quite unlike me at the time. And I just said, listen, I'm going to make you smile. I'm going to be the high point in your day. You're going to look forward to this. And, it's going to be awesome. I didn't talk about really fitness and losing weight, and all the way through lockdown, I completely extracted the nutrition part out of it, because who had time for that,
Yeah. We couldn't get pasta or toilet rolls.
And we were so scared at the start as well, even
it's like a pressure cooker.
Oh my God, even before I went on my daily lives, some days I'd be feeling sick with fear right at the start. And then you'd go on, and afterwards, it's transformational. That's what I love about exercise. And you said it yourself in the same words as I use. I often don't even call it exercise. I just call it moving your body. And that's the way I tell my kids as well. I say, you're feeling crap today, and it's because you haven't moved your body. You need to move your body in some way. Do something. Go out and throw a ball about. Go out on your bike. I don't speak about actual exercise a lot.
I hear that.
It's just the joy of moving your body, especially to music. And so that's why it's called Your Daily High. And then afterwards, quite a lot of people said to me, I said to them, how did you hear about the group? Why did you come in? And they said, I saw your live and I just saw your happy, smiling face. And I thought, I just need that in my life.
You need to hang out. That's what it is, isn't it? The same reason why people kind of watch this. It's to boost your brain. This is to boost your brain, and the things to boost your body. And like you say, the music thing's really, really important. And whether you guys feel like this out there or not, we were talking to Paula Cornell this week about bees, and about vibrations, and beats per minute in music has a direct effect on your emotions. So certain BPMs, it's just like certain songs will make you happy, certain songs will make you sad, certain songs will make you feel relaxed, certain songs will get you up and out of your seat and dancing. And that music is mega important if you wanted to connect to the movement of your body with something. The best thing to do it with is music, right?
Absolutely. I love that you've mentioned beats per minute. When I speak to people about that aren't in music or fitness, they're just like, what?
But I'm a singer, I get you.
I look squint here. I don't know what's going on. So lopsided. When also,
I'm gonna have to plug you in. I've realised I've just not plugged. I've just had a notification come up to say your laptop's gonna die. I'm like, no.
Emma Roscoe said that she's seen my TEDx talk. Oh my god, I can't believe that. I made the mistake, Emma, of never boosting the talk. Everyone else that did it at the same time used that Google Boost thing or Google Ads to boost their TEDx's, and the views went up to hundreds of thousands for some of them. And I never invested, which was probably a mistake. But yeah, you've seen the TEDx talk, Emma. The funniest comment under my TEDx talk is, so there's one that says, I don't have an effing clue what this girl is saying.
I love a troll.
I love that. I had no idea what I was talking about. And then another one said, this girl sounds like Merida from Brave.
You only have to have a vaguely Scottish accent for anybody who hasn't, and then that's it. You sound like Merida from Brave.
It's obviously so unlikely coming from my mouth. They're like, what?
I love it.
Scottish called Margaret.
So what it would be brilliant if you didn't mind that after the show today, if you could pop the link to your TEDx. So for those of us that haven't seen it, it would be great for us to check it out.
I don't know why I've mentioned it so many times. I'm absolutely not trying to push it. It was like years ago, and
right.
yeah. So what was I going to say about beats per minute? Yeah. So you mentioned that, and I think the reason people, when I did the Fuse Fit classes, the reason people loved it so much is because I was so particular about my music. I spent hours and hours devising the playlist. I would use this online DJ service called FitMix Pro, and you go in, and it's original artist tunes, but they've been adapted for fitness, and you can use your BPM from a range of about 20. So you can go from 120 up to 140. So I'd go in, and I had this whole structure about warming them up, and then coming up to the peak where we go crazy, bringing them down, and then I'd change the whole type of music and feel for the sculpt part where we did the strength, and then became lovely cool down tunes. So it was a whole emotional experience as well as
it is. Like when I've been to classes, and when you do build up to that peak and that bloody joyous relief when it all starts to slow down and you start stretching it out and you're like, yes, I've achieved something, I'm amazing.
It's fabulous, it really is. Yeah, the other thing I wanted to say was, you mentioned about punishing your body. I'm so anti that. I think as women, and I'm not dissing men, but I can only speak for
no, it's okay.
So as a woman, I think we have so much on our plates and in our heads. And for me, I'm running a house. I've got 3 children, 9, 15, and 17, and a dog. My husband works crazy hours all through lockdown. It was like 6 in the morning to about sometimes 12 at night, and it's all the headspace that takes up, and it's
a lot.
I don't like a lot of these trite sayings that there is in the fitness industry. I think we're moving away from it now, but things like, you just have to make time for yourself. You're like, what?
Yeah, you just pull some time out your ass for yourself then. Go on.
And I'll say to clients, no, that's rubbish. To me, it's like, look at your week, and is there a little nook or cranny that you can just fit in something? And I won't lie, I've had clients, one springs to mind, an MP that was travelling from Glasgow down south to Westminster every week. She did not have time to work out. She just didn't. We went through her week and there was no time. So we went all in on the sleep and the food.
Right.
And she got the results. And I said, look, you don't have time just now, but hopefully your life will become a little bit less hectic at some point. But just now, and we even tried it, you know, we tried some moves for her in a hotel room, but there was no time. So I think sayings like that can be quite destructive. And the two words that I hate the most are motivation and willpower.
Oh,
so
God.
Every single person that comes into my world and into my group, your daily high, I ask them, what are you struggling with most right now? And 90% of the time they say motivation or willpower.
Right.
And so I'm really fascinated in the way like the brain works. Because that's where it all comes from, and habit forming and all that. And so what is pushed out and what people believe is you get that motivation one day. You wake up and you're like, yeah,
all of a sudden, like magic motivation that suddenly descended upon you.
Yeah. So they think the process is motivation, then movement, and then momentum. So once I get that motivation, then I will do the work. I'll exercise, and then I'll have momentum. It's actually the total wrong way about. It's movement. You just move. And then you build the momentum, and then you're motivated to do it again because you're like, that actually felt really good.
Felt good.
So what I do is I help people latch onto the feeling. And don't get me wrong, I do all the stuff that other trainers do. We do goal setting, we do strategy, and I get all the great results that other trainers get. I probably don't talk about it enough because
we don't, do we? Like all of this, like, you know, for me again, asking for testimonials and stuff like that, we just don't do it, even though we do get incredible results. It's crackers.
It's mad. And also, I was on a live with Lisa Johnson yesterday in her membership and talking about my official launch in October. And she was saying, you know, it's almost become, although I do really focus on the feel and the mental effect of fitness and serving professional women, I do talk a lot about how it helps stress and anxiety and overwhelm, especially with what we've just been through. And she was like, yeah, Margaret, you know, it's almost become taboo to talk about the fact we want to lose half a stone. It's like, which I think is wrong as well. That shouldn't be wrong. You know, it's okay to feel I want to lose half a stone or I want to lose a stone. And mostly, so a lot of clients come to me and they'll say, I want to be fitter. I'm here because of, I think about longevity now. I want to be here for my kids and my grandkids. But also they're a wee bit embarrassed to say, I also want to lose a stone. You know, I'm saying there's nothing wrong with that if they have a stone to lose. And it's okay to speak about that as well. Mm-hmm. It's almost become a bit self-indulgent, I think, to speak about that, or something.
I think it's become self-indulgent. I think it's getting hung up on the number. Yeah. I think it's making the number make you valid. Yeah. I think that's what it is. It's like commercially over time, the number on the scale has become a measure of validity, as opposed to the number on the scale being an indicator as to where you're at from a health point of view. But that is only one measure. So I think that the number becomes unhealthy when you add it into your validation process. So you are not a valid person if a number says a certain thing, and you can only be valid as a person if that is below a certain point. And it's okay if it is within your, you know, your health goals to say, actually, you know, a stone's going to bring me to where I want to be. Yeah. All right, well, cool. Like, own that. That's all right. For me, it becomes problematic when the number is the key focus. When the number is the only focus, then you're fucked. Because you start obsessing. That's when you're weighing yourself every day. That's when it becomes about the number and the figure, as opposed to the overall thing. So I say, okay, here are my health goals. In order to reach those health goals, I'm going to need to lose a stone. If I want to be a size 12, then I'm going to need to lose so much weight. Okay, well, fair enough. If that's what you want to be, that's what your goals are. Yeah. Some people, that might not be their goals, and that's cool for them. But making that a market validity, I think, is where it becomes problematic. I don't know what you think about that.
I completely agree. And actually what I meant was, I don't share these successes enough, not just because I'm not like bumming myself up enough, but because I focus so much on the other metrics apart from the weight that I almost don't talk about it enough. So sometimes I start to talk about it in too woolly terms, and people people don't necessarily resonate like that.
It's hard for them to connect with it because we've still got years of conditioning, haven't we?
Yeah, so people are conditioned to, I want to lose weight, I want to lose weight, and they're like, oh, that lady's selling fat loss, you know. But
yeah, she's losing weight.
I've never wanted to do that. But then somebody's saying they were on that live the other day, Karen. Lisa said to me, everyone that she knows is talking about, I want to lose the lockdown pounds. And I have never spoken about that on social at all. And I thought, okay, yeah, I need to speak about that because people are saying it to me too. But so I've had a few new clients this week, and the things that I get them to do are, apart from the weight on the scales, and some of them don't weigh themselves at all. And I can tell when it's not something that motivates them.
It's a driver for them. It's whatever's going to drive you, right?
So I tell them that I want them to do their measurements with a tape measure, take their photos, you know, just as a benchmark of the progress. And also, I want them to sit and think about how they feel at the moment. That you know, for me, I'm a pear shape, so everything goes on below the waist. And so I can sit here and I can hide it all, which is good. So immediately, any fat I put on goes on my hip, bums, and thighs. And I know, you know, if I'm starting to feel like my jeans are sticking to me, I want to lose a few pounds. So I'll say to them, you know, how do you feel? And the thing we really focus in on is to, and I actually did a guided one, not that I'm qualified in this, with a client this week, because I said, look, I want you to go away and I want you to really focus on your visual this week. I'm kind of, I'm still sort of getting into woo, but I'm not fully woo. I mean, I'm still...
You're not all the way into woo. I get it. We're on a spectrum of woo here in the Hive. Like from an IATQB point of view, we're on the spectrum of woo. Claire's just looking around like she's here for the woo. What are you saying, Claire?
Woo with Jason.
Oh, Claire, you woo with Jason? She's alongside the woo. She's open to the woo. She's not dismissive of the woo.
So for me, I realise it's just if it's explained to you in a way that resonates with you, that's the key, isn't it? And I've been following this Scottish guy, a business coach, and he actually talks about energy. And so I don't like the word vibrations.
All right, okay.
That's my line, okay? Like talk about raising your vibrations. And he talks about it in relation to physics. Now, not detailed physics, because I was crap at science at school, but the way he explains it really resonates with me. And actually, he's probably just talking about raising your vibrations.
Yeah.
Because it's been explained in that way, I'm like, okay, I can get on board with that. You know?
I think when you talk about things like frequency, it's just like the BPM thing with music. I think it's that it evokes an emotion. The reason it evokes an emotion is because it is at a certain frequency and it allows you to match it because it gives you a benchmark. And because music is penetrative, like it you know, you feel bass in your belly, like it's penetrative. You feel music through your body as well as in your ears. Then from a vibration point of view, you can lift up and down. Like that's like the science of it. So then if your emotions are at certain vibrations, when you're visualizing, it's all of that sort of stuff. So I'm more woo than not woo.
I think I'm probably going to become more woo. I would say that.
We're scientists with it. Like, so I need to understand the science of it and the way that frequencies work. Like, I'm here for that. I understand frequencies just like I understand music. So that's like kind of where I'm at with it.
That's really interesting. But why was I talking about that?
So we're visualizing.
The visual. So I call it a visual instead of a vision because, again, I'm a wee bit standoffish with the word vision.
I'll be careful with it.
I'm like, no. And I know that a lot of probably, again, Scottish people maybe are.
There's a lot of people like culturally, like it's okay. We're in the entrepreneurial world, so we hear it all the time. So there are more people that kind of further along that journey. But if we look at people out in employment in the Muggle world, in the non-entrepreneurial space, that's a really strange concept. If I was to speak to somebody like my sister or my mum about The Secret, they kind of look at me and they go,
"What?"
Like it's a bit awkward. I can't talk to them about it. They don't get it. Well, my sister does now, but my mum, there's no chance.
Oh God, no! And even in my house, I get eye rolls from my husband and the teenagers all the time. At dinner, they'll be like, But for the vision, I want to cover this because this might help people that are listening.
Absolutely.
What I get them to do is I say, right, I want you to just find It can even just be 5 minutes, and feel into a vision of where you want to be, a visual of where you want to be. And I want you to focus on, and people that are into NLP will know this, 3 things. What can you see, what can you hear, and what can you feel? So when you reach the point you want to be at, where are you in your head? Who's around you? So for me, I don't socialise a lot. My work is my social, and I've got 3 kids. So, but the Ivy restaurant is open. We have an Ivy in Glasgow now, so I do love my food. So for me, I'm at the Ivy because I've been on a 7-pound weight loss journey because my clothes were becoming too tight for me. I put on 7 in lockdown. So I'm at the Ivy in Glasgow. That's where I am. I can see it because I've been there before. I can see the beautiful surroundings. I'm with friends. What can I feel? I just feel super confident and happy. And I feel great because my clothes feel, like they fit me properly. And what can you hear? I can hear the clinking of the glasses and the cutlery and the chatter and my pals all chatting and laughing. And what I get clients to then do is I say to them, so I want you to just think about that at some point every single day and trust that that's where you're going to get to, but don't start equating that with the strategy that we've created.
The how, yeah.
And you'll start to go, but I can't, I'm not going to do it, I don't know how to do it. So I've used that in the latest, weight loss journey I've been on, and it's been so powerful.
It's funny because there's a guy, he's called Hal Elrod, and I don't know if you've heard of the Miracle Morning.
I saw him talking in down south, yeah.
Oh, he's fabulous, and he did a study in a similar way to Napoleon Hill years ago, who wrote Think and Grow Rich. And there are 6 behaviors of people who are successful, and that's whatever your measure of success is. So in this instance, we're talking about health and well-being being a measure of success, and it absolutely is. And it should be. How well we are will often have an indicator of how successful we are or how wealthy we are. And that's not talking about how skinny we are, but how much we concentrate on our well-being here, and here has a massive impact on, how overall successful we are. And there are 6 different behaviors that successful people on the spectrum of success share. Like they an amalgamation of these behaviors actually make the more successful person. And he has this acronym called SAVERS, and I'm gonna have to write it down so I remember it. So first is silence, so meditation. The second is affirmation, so saying the words, because like with NLP, your thoughts become your words become your actions become your outcomes. And then you've got visualization, because your brain doesn't know when you conjure up a really clear mental image of something, what's real and what's not. And if you can think it and you can see it, there has got to be a way that you can backtrack in order to create that and make that happen. So with that visualization, by making that really clear in your mind, how you see, how you feel, who's with you, what you can smell, what you can taste, what all of this, if you can create that around you, you can replicate that into your real life. So having this part of your plan, I don't know how you guys lost any of that then with my pause, but having this visualization as part of your daily behavior can only be helpful to move you towards where it is that you want to be. I mean, for those of you that are interested, the next one, E for exercise, so moving your body, is one of the things that successful people do. The other is reading or learning, so doing things like hanging out on this show or doing a little bit of reading every day. And the next one is scribing, writing things down, making a plan for stuff and getting a to-do list and ticking it off. So those things that you're talking about, Margaret, are all ways that successful people, wildly successful people, they do them regularly, and that is what kind of helps them generate the success. So it works. It's a massive science. It's a huge science.
Yeah, it absolutely does. Yeah, I saw him talk. He was absolutely inspirational. And funnily enough, me and my kind of business besties did SAVERS for a while, and the bit that I missed out was the exercise. Because I don't like exercising in the morning. I get you. I don't mind if I'm hosting a class and I can bring out the show, but actually, personally, I would choose to work out later in the day because my energy levels peak in the evening. But I found it really fascinating, and the vision part is just it's amazing the power that has, isn't it?
Yeah, your brain doesn't know what's real and what isn't. If the clearer you create it, then the bit of your brain that is not logical, so the limbic part, the animal part of your brain doesn't know. So it thinks, oh, well, that's possible because you can really clearly see it. It
Yeah,
can't, it's like when you have a really vivid dream and you wake up angry at your partner, you want to thump him because he's done something wrong because you can't differentiate between what's real and what's not
yeah, and in that same vein, I also
real.
am careful not to speak to clients about the negative things. So instead of talking about what they're trying to move away from,
Avoid.
we talk about what they're moving towards. Because
Yeah.
again, if you talk about, okay, weight loss and how inactive you are and how awful you feel, your brain focuses on that because it can only focus
Yes.
one thing at a time.
Yeah.
And that's not good, because I think that, a fitness journey should always come from a place of positivity, and
Mm.
it should be all geared around making you feel good,
Yeah, I
rather,
mean,
rather than it
you
being a
can't,
chore. I mean, who wants that?
yeah, you can't hate yourself healthy. You can't
No.
hate yourself, you can't hate yourself into a place of well-being. So why would you, like, it's okay to understand where you are, what are the foundations on which you're building, fine, but you can't dwell there, because if you dwell there, you're just going to beat yourself up with a should stick. I should have done this already. I should already be here. These are the things that I should have done. Actually, no, you can't sit there because you are just going to be shafting yourself with a should stick.
Yeah, totally. It's and I also end up, I've got lots of clients that come to me and they do hate themselves, and it's
Mm. Yeah.
and I have to really rein my emotions.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it?
And I saw somebody last week, I had a new client, and I know her from years ago, and she was sitting telling me how family meal times are just miserable because she chases her food about the plate and she picks at it, and so a big thing for her is, and she doesn't have, actually, she's not carrying a lot of weight, but she feels horrible about herself, and
Yeah.
and one of her goals was for her on a Saturday and Sunday, because she was talking about how enjoyable it was, as we all found, to sit down and have family meals in lockdown, and how our young girls were like, they said recently, oh, mummy, we really miss those family meals we had in lockdown.
Yeah.
We're bringing those back, even if it's just once a week. I want you to do it a Saturday night. You're all going to plan the meal. It's going to be lovely, and you're going to eat everything and not feel guilty about it.
Yes.
Because you're going to know, it's healthy and it's fine, and that we're removing the guilt. Like many people, she's done every diet under the sun. And so she messaged me on Sunday and said, we had the most amazing family meal last night. And actually, my husband and the girls both went, are you eating the same food as us? It's like,
yeah.
yes. Usually I'm taking food off my husband's plate.
I love it.
So that's really, it should be joyful. It should be fun. You're supposed to enjoy your food. I can say I don't ever feel guilt about food. Maybe I'm lucky. Maybe it's the way I was brought up, but I just don't equate food with guilt. And even if I have a blowout, and I do binge, I'm a sugar, I don't like to say addict. I'm a really sweet tooth, so that's
you're
fine.
into it. You dig it.
I had to give up the Percy Pigs and the Haribos. It was a nightmare. Dropping them down in bagfuls. I mean, what are these wee mini bags all about?
What are they? They're not fun sizes. Like, what is that? No one's having any fun with some at that size.
You need a family bag, so yeah, they had to go. And so I do get it, because I'm from a family of people that love their food, and all our social engagements are around food. And I think I think what probably makes me different to other people in the fitness industry is I'm now in my late 40s. Okay, don't want to admit that. I'm into my late 40s, and I am a busy mum, and lockdown has actually been really beneficial for me. And I know as for many people, I say that like it's a surprise. So because I decided to go on and do a live every single day to keep us all sane and happy, it forced me to be completely me online. And up until whenever, like February, March this year, I always felt I had to curate my content and give people what I thought they wanted.
Yeah.
And locked it, and I never put out a lot of content because I was like, oh no, I don't look good enough, and I don't sound good enough, and this isn't good enough, and I don't look like blooming Kayla Itzinnies from Australia, who's probably bloody like 24, you know, and I don't have the build as her. And so I always had this vision of what you should look like. And actually, once I started just being me, because I had to be, because I was on every day, the people that come
magic, though.
Absolutely my ideal clients. And I remember every day I came on and I gave a wee bit of chat at the start of, before I did the workout. And the internal narrative was saying for a few weeks, oh, Margaret, just shut up. They're just here for the workout. You know, stop talking about this nonsense and stuff. You know,
they're here for you.
And then they started commenting, going, oh, we love your wee chats about telling us what's going on in your house each day. And I thought, oh my God, okay, right. I was going to cut the chats. And
never ever cut the chats, because that's the connection bit, right?
And I went on last night to do a deep stretch and breathing session. And the funny thing was, so I ran into the room like 3 minutes before I was due to come on, and I thought, oh crap, I've not got a fitness top on, and I've also got a normal bra on, and I've always got the live. you're gonna be like, oh no, I've always got the live teed up just for me to press go live, right? Because I've got it at the angle so they can see me standing or on the mat. Whip off my t-shirt that I had on, whip off the bra, and then thought, oh my God, I'm standing in front of this camera, topless. Luckily, I hadn't gone live.
You're not live.
I had that moment of fear where I thought, I'm going to have to emigrate. Forever. I told them this whole story after I went on, and you know, they were like, oh, that's brilliant, don't worry, we didn't see your boobies, you know. And that's the stuff, it's the connection, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. And it's showing, I think, when you're a leader in any field, and you're a leader in your field, same as I'm a leader in my field, when you're showing up as a leader in your field, you have to show up in your imperfection just as much as you've got to show up in your expertise, because otherwise everything's unattainable. Like, if you show up in this kind of, like, I find Instagram all equally fabulous and super toxic at the same time, in that, you know, especially for fitness professionals that are on there, or the fitness influencers that are on there, it's heavily curated. And actually what we crave now more than ever is that connection, is how, not, instead of how being so far removed, like I could never attain that level of perfection, so I don't engage with it. How could I? Either that, or it makes me feel bad. Whereas actually, if you turn up with imperfections as well as your expertise, it just makes you magnetic. It makes, you know, like, we want to come and hang out more with you. Just even if there's a hope that we're going to see boobies, I don't know, but it's still.
No, absolutely. And it's funny you're saying that, because even with me, I realised I was following all the wrong people on social media and fitness.
Right.
It was young girls who were in their 20s, and it was making me feel shit about myself. And so I started a post about it, and I said, who are you following on social media? And are they serving you? Do you feel good about yourself? And I had to unfollow all these people.
Yeah.
Because not only did they make me feel like I wasn't succeeding in my business, they also made me feel like I wasn't succeeding in my fitness and my body. And I thought, but actually, you know, I'm sure there are also people the same age as me and same stage that have much different goals and much, I don't want to say better, very different bodies to me.
Yeah.
But that will have a negative effect on my mood. And so, you know, for anyone that's listening, just unfollow these people. Just get them out. You know,
anyone who's making you feel less than. You want to surround yourself and your feed, curate your social media for people who make you feel good, not for people who make you feel sad about who you are not. People who are encouraging you, people who are lifting you up, people who see you, people who you connect with. They're the people that you need on your social media feed.
And I'd be interested to know what you thought about this. So there's this rise now in social media as well of these people in fitness, or they're jumping on the fitness wagon, and they say they're about body positivity, but actually what they do is it's all curated, and then they'll throw in the odd picture going, oh, I've just had my dinner, look at my belly. I actually don't really find that helpful either, because everything else is curated, and then they just drop in one.
Like, they're shaming themselves.
Yeah, I don't, there's just something that doesn't resonate with me with that. And now you've got loads of young girls like dancing in their pants and bra.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think I think the body positivity has been it's been claimed in the wrong way, I think, by many members of the fitness industry. I think that that isn't body positivity, is it? That's they're throwing shame in with it, so that's not. Like I speak to we've had the incredible Lindsay McGlone on the show, and she's spoken on my stages, and she's the fierce fat feminist, and she talks about body acceptance as opposed to body positivity. And actually, if the very least you can do for yourself is accept that your body is your vehicle and you've just got to love it where it's at, that you get to make decisions over what you do with it. You get to make decisions over making it healthier. You get to make decisions over not if you don't want to, but acceptance has got to be the base level of love that you can give yourself. Then that for me is more about what the body positivity movement should be about. It's about accepting the fact that I'm big and I'm not going to apologize for being big, but I'm also in the same breath to say I find ways to move my body that I certainly don't post on my social media. Look at my belly, like, or look at my double chin today, or shame bits of myself. How is that me being positive about myself? How is that showing that I'm accepting things about myself? I have to accept the fact that I've drank a lot of wine and I've eaten a lot of food, and this is what I look.
And
I accept that and understand that there are things that I could and do to improve my health. Now, whether that has an effect on my overall aesthetic, so be it.
Yeah, and you're gorgeous.
That's where I'm at.
Do you know, it's funny, I'm a rampant feminist. I was raised by a headmistress. Oh, she was strict. And she also trailblazed, you know, she was a headmistress decades ago, and she also taught a class and, you know, had me and my sister and was a single parent. And God, I've totally lost my thread. I'm surprised that's only happened now. Oh yeah, I know.
You know what? It's all good. I lose my thread daily.
So, and it's early. So I saw a picture of you the other day, and actually I wanted to write, God, you are just stunning. And your eyes just popped out. And you know, I saw myself, because sometimes it's like, oh, that's going to make me look really kind of, I don't usually think about how I'm going to look anymore when I say something online. I was like, it's really vacuous, but you look absolutely stunning. And, you know, your face was just beaming out of this picture on social media. Gorgeous. And yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. So,
but there should be more of this. Like, we can see, especially women, we can see this in each other, and it's okay. It's like, girl, it's not vacuous. It's like lifting people up. And yes, sometimes that might be based on how somebody looks that particular day. I like to think that actually I can look like balls and still smile, and actually that be the bit that people see. And it isn't today I've got no makeup on, and I'm okay with having no makeup on today. And then other times you'll see, and I'll have a face full of stuff. I look like a drag queen, and it doesn't matter. But you can still see that in somebody. You can see if somebody's happy in a photo and go, God, you're glowing. Like, look at you. You look melting.
That's absolutely what I thought. You were glowing, and I hardly wear makeup. I put my makeup on for you today, but I hardly wear makeup now. And I suppose what we're trying to see here is we're multifaceted, and you want to accept all of those parts of yourself. And for me, health and fitness is just one part of who you are. And so many women get to the stage where this is all of who I am, and I hate it and I don't like it, and that's really sad. And I like to kind of lift them out of that and make them, you know, focus on all the amazing, fabulous areas of themselves. So with what I do, you know, like many people in service-based businesses, you become a full coach to these to your clients, don't you? You know,
because it is holistic. The whole thing is holistic. How you feel about yourself comes from the inside before you even start moving your body and doing whatever it is that you do.
And I think that a message I like to get across, as well as saying, you know, I wasn't a fitness fanatic. I wasn't fantastic at sport at school. So when I tell the kids that in schools, when I go in, they're like, oh my God, they go home and say to their mums, she never was good at sport. You know, they think I'm a maniac, and I'm not. And the other really probably more important thing is, and people will be thinking I'm some kind of bouncy, manic, high person with the energy I have this morning. But I traditionally am an overthinker, a worrier, a perfectionist, a fatalist. My head goes to the worst case scenario. I see an ambulance or police car anywhere near my kid's school, I'm like, oh my God, what has happened? And And I remember one of my first memories was when I was probably about 8 years old, and we had a babysitter in, and my mum and dad were out, and they were a bit late home, and I was sitting like worried sick that something had happened to them, you know, and that's who I am, and I've managed, I now have managed to deal with it and cope with it, but always a worrier. I was always a really serious child, always aiming for perfection, and you know, always put really high standards on myself, all through school, all through uni. And I had to have, you know, the best grades. I had to have a perfect house, even after I had 2 kids 20 months apart. You know, I had to be immaculate. So when I left corporate, it was really tough, the transition from perfect to good enough. So my motto is now good enough. And if I'm sending out an email, whatever it is, I'm like, it's good enough. If it's a half-assed workout I do, I'm like, it's good enough. And my house is nowhere near perfect anymore. And the overthinking, the thing that fitness does for me is get me out of my head, because I'm a person that's in my head a lot.
And it helps you externalize some of that energy, isn't it? Because when you've got the energy kind of swirling around in here, like for some people it might be journaling, but a really easy way to do this is to move, is to get that energy flowing outside of yourself by moving your body.
And it always just totally blows me away how transformational it is. You just move. I know that I'm now trying to sell fitness, but I do just love it.
But why not? Like, why not? Why not? Why do we not want to be healthy? It's not dirty to want to be fucking healthy. Jesus Christ.
But so just moving for, you know, even 10 minutes, you know, some people, I'll say to them, okay, you don't have time for a workout, put on your favourite tune and just dance.
Have a boogie.
Yeah, have a dance. And the transformation for me is epic, because traditionally I'm such a worrier, and I'm so in my head. It drag me down. It can be absolutely horrendous. And then, you know, like many women in my early 40s, I suffered from burnout. I thought it was just straightforward depression, but then when I went for CBT, it turns out it was burnout. You know, that could be a whole other episode, so we'll not go into that.
Yeah, we'll have to come back, because like we're running out of time. And do you know what? And the thing is, it's so fascinating. It's such a, like you say, it's such a multifaceted topic that you know we could do a whole series. In fact, maybe we should on particularly health and well-being and how that fits, because people will look at me and go, well, do you know what? She's a fat lass. Like, what does she know? And it's not about where you are. It's about how you're feeling. It's about how healthy you are, and you know how skinny or how fat you are really isn't an indicator of how healthy you are inside, up here, in here, how your arteries are, and all of that sort of stuff. It's important that if you are moving, especially from a mental health point of view, you guys, from a mental health point of view, moving your body has a direct impact, whether it is walking, whether it is yoga, whether it is stretching, whether it's having a dance, has a direct impact on your mental health from a chemical point of view, from an endorphin point of view. So I open the conversation up here, like I welcome the conversation in this space, and it isn't about hitting anybody with a should stick, and it's not about shaming anybody. It's not about not loving your body. In fact, it's about loving yourself so much that you want to do something to celebrate it and not punish it, right?
Absolutely, yeah, totally. It's all celebration. And I think so the transformation that I've been through, from moving away from law and just, you know, becoming more mature and having life experience. There was a group of mums that I used to meet when my daughter was a toddler and my son was a newborn, and we had this, you know, church mum and toddlers club. Sometimes we met in houses, so they weren't close friends, but they became, you know, acquaintances. And then years later, I met them at a 40th party that I was at. And they said to me, you're just glowing. You've got energy just emanating from your body. And one of them said to me, you weren't very happy when we used to have those mum and toddlers groups. You know, she said, everything seemed really perfect, but she was like, you just seem like a different person now. It's funny because it wasn't, you know, it's not an obvious thing to many people, but they'd seen me in that other stage of my life when I was aiming for perfection, and then they saw when I'm just kind of like loving, you know.
When you relax, my God, around everything, when you relax around everything, things become so much easier.
Absolutely. But I'd love to do a health and fitness series with you, because all the things that are popping into my head now that I want to talk about, it's just like endless, you know,
I think we should. I think there's a whole well-being thing that I would quite like to do perhaps in the new year, that maybe looks at mental well-being as well as physical well-being. Let's have a conversation about that. And one of the things that I love about this show is that the onward conversations that I have with the guests, that everybody out there has a potential to have with you. And Margaret, would you do me a huge favor and pop the links to anything that you want to share with us?
Absolutely, would love to. Yeah, and I'll come on and I'll do a live class for you.
Amazing. It's got to be one of the dancey ones. Like, I'm here for the dancey one.
Okay, I'll do the dancey one then. It's dancey one's crazy. I like to do it in some kind of private space, because I've become a bit of a maniac, so that's fine.
All right, my angel, Margaret Shenken, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Dani. It's been an absolute joy.
Absolutely. Thank you. That was Margaret Shenken. Everybody, she's going to pop her links into the comments. It would be an absolute honor to do something. What are you saying? Some sort of health and well-being like conversation, maybe in the new year, that we have both out here and on In the Hive, from a mental health point of view, from an inside point of view, and obviously from a physical point of view as well. Let's talk about it. Let's keep the conversation going. The conversation this morning has not been about shaming anybody where they are at. I'm coming to you as a size 20 woman. This is about loving yourself wherever you are at, and celebrating yourself in any way that you feel appropriate. Right, you guys, have an incredible day. I have sent everybody who is on my email list, you should have an email in your email inboxes. Go and check it out. For anybody that has signed up to the challenge, the Be Heard So You Want to Be a Speaker challenge, you need to make sure you are knocking on the door of the Be Heard So You Want to Be a Speaker pop-up group. We open the doors a week on Friday. We kick off the challenge on the 28th of September. More on that to come. I will not see you in the morning because I will be on a plane. However, I am going to be having a guest host. So more on that a little bit later on today, but I am going to be having a guest host in the morning to speak to our guest. Super excited about that. We'll share that with you a little bit later today. In the meantime, have an incredible Thursday. We are going to get some work done up here in the apartment on the last day of our one-to-one VIP intensive. More on all of the Be Heard speakery business coming up. But for the meantime, have an incredible Thursday. I love you. Tra.